getting your partner on board, I wanted to jump in and do this before we set off on the whole course. The reason why is because you may choose to do this with your partner, you may do it by yourself, and I think it's just good to acknowledge that there will be relationships where there will be two people really goal-orientated, going to plug in and do this together. There will be relationships where one is the driving force and the other one is a bit of a passenger but will go along with it. There'll be relationships where one is the driving force and the other one won't even really be a passenger, but will be a trailer on the back of the car and just go with it. And I think there's a difference. Passenger kind of is cool to go on the trip, where a trailer, it's getting dragged along. And then I think there's probably another category where the partnership or your partner is totally disengaged, doesn't even want to latch on to the car. And I'm not here to say I've got all the answers when it comes to goal setting in relationships, but I just want to feed you with some things to think about when you are doing this with a partner who may not be 100% on board with you. I developed a bit of a thing, and I'm calling it my F.L.A.M.E method, because I just wanted to put 5 things down that you could grab. So we're going to find, we're going to listen, we're going to ask, we're going to motivate, and we're going to encourage. Now, you don't have to do all of these. You don't have to, do them all in order either. I just wanted to put a few things together and, I guess we all want a relationship that's spicy and hot and flaming and all that. So I thought, I'll call it the F.L.A.M.E method so it's kind of easy to remember. So let's have a look at find. We want to find common ground and goals. So identify areas where your goals align with their values, interests, or desires, and build your case around shared priorities. So when we are going through the discovering goal session, one thing that probably what you could do when I ask you, so in the next video, I'll be asking you, write down 3 things that really annoy you about your life, write down 3 things you love or all that stuff. If you are doing it with your partner, write them individually and separately. And then when we are compiling the list, anything that overlaps with you and your partner, we've got to put on that list. Anything that doesn't, it could be a discussion around what's more important to the individual, if it's a joint goal, if it's a couple goal, because at the end of the day, we are adults, we need to prioritize and we need to work together. So that's what I want you to do. I just want you to, when you're going through this stuff, do it separately and then bring all the stuff together. When you talk to your partner, frame the conversation to both show how the goal serves both of you. So, you know how we always wanted to X, Y, Z. So I think a lot of the times, and my limited, terrible experience of being good in relationships and all that is, and for me, my Briggs personality is ENTJ. Now, that's really difficult to live with. And I think every personality profile has their strengths and weaknesses. And I'd probably recommend do the Myers-Briggs assessment, you and your partner, have a look at what your profiles are and see what are some potential flaws with the matchup and particularly the opportunities with each matchup. But my ENTJ kind of commander vibe, I can be guilty of just going for it, but I have to actually bring someone with me, okay? And that takes practice and awareness. L, listen to their perspective. Ask your partner about their thoughts, concerns, or hesitations regarding your goals or goal settings. Be open to their ideas and suggestions. So like if you're that steamroller like I am, listen to your partner and be open to suggestions because guess what? They will have some insight that you will not have. Make them feel heard and valued by legitimately actively listening to them and acknowledging them. A. Now, this is a kind of, for some goals, they're going to be deeply personal or individual rather. Ask for support. So ask them for support if it's something that's of no interest to them or if it's not relevant to them. You've got to really let them know that it is important to you and their support would really help you achieve this. It could be an individual career goal. I really want to do this for my career, which will, help the partnership, but there will be goals that are actually yours, like I want to do a half marathon, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit, I want to, whatever it is, learn the bloody piano, okay? So I think it's important to ask for support because that will really help you. Motivate. Motivate each other with achievable milestones. Break the large goal into smaller, manageable steps that you can work on individually or as a team. Celebrate the progress to maintain motivation. And for example, if your goal is financial, do the Glen James spending plan together. When we get into the other modules, you'll see there might be times where we're breaking up goals and we're breaking up tasks. Maybe you can identify what's a goal that you can do, what's a goal that I can do, what's a goal that we can both work on. For example, I used an example in some quick wins, and an example is we've got to renovate the back deck. Okay, well, let's write down what we need to do to renovate the back deck. We're going to do it on Saturday. All right, I'm going to go to Bunnings. I'm going to buy the sealer or the sander or whatever. Hey, while I'm away, what about you get the gurney out? And I don't know. So some of the stuff that we talk about in the following videos, it's a little bit easier to talk about it when it's just you, but I just know that we don't live in a silo or a vacuum, but plug your partner into all of this stuff. And continually encouragement. Clearly explain your goals and why they are important to you. Share how achieving these goals could positively impact you both. So a continual thing. If it's an individual career goal, hey, if we do this, I can get a pay rise, I can get a better work-life balance for us and our family, and continually do that for individual goals and joint goals. One thing I just said the F word then, not that word, but family. Now, I'm not going to get heaps into the weeds of this, but if you've got kids, you may have individual goals each, you may have joint goals, and you may have family goals. So can you, all this is age appropriate, obviously, maybe we need to do a little family goal planning session. Hey, kids, gather around. What's something that we want to achieve as a family? And obviously age appropriate. If they're 5 years old, over the next school term, or I don't know, bring the kids in. If we are doing family goals, okay, mum and little Jilly, they're going to go and do this. Dad and Michelle, they're going to go and do that. Then we're going to come together. We're all going to, so bring the kids along, okay? So use language to emphasize mutual benefit, and that language is we, us, our. Often in the Money Facebook group and when I do the podcast, when people write in questions and they're clearly in a relationship, it's very apparent with the language when they write stuff and questions. So it could be, they'll start with my wife and I, or my husband and I, and then it just goes through I, me, and there's no we in that. So you've got to take people on the journey with you. Now, what if your partner is not interested? So I use that terrible analogy at the start where, you could be both fired up, ready to go. Could be a passenger. Yeah, I'm kind of keen to go, but you can drive. Could be the trailer. whatever, I'll just follow you, don't heaps care. And there could be total disengagement. Now, I think I'm not going to spend too long here because it can get into a bit of, you might need some professional help. And I'm certainly not a psychologist, but this is just from my experience with talking to hundreds of couples together in a financial advice sense, on the podcast, all that stuff. I would probably ask them what the resistance is, and can they write that down or explain, and give them a little bit of time. It's like, hey, I really want to do this for me, or I think it would be beneficial if we did this. You say you want to do this, but I'm not seeing any action. Can you maybe just 3 bullet points, 4 bullet points, write down, take a few days, we'll come back Tuesday evening or whatever, and we'll go through this. Can you just explain why the resistance? You might ask them, are they happy with that level of apathy in their life or in that corner of their life? And it honestly could be a sign of misalignment in the relationship if there isn't, or we're just on different pages. And I think it's important, I'm going to move along, but from my experience, there's being on the same page, which is awesome, but because of our different goals and genetic makeup, there are times where we're not on the same page. But it's really important to understand, does the other person want to even know what page you're on? Does the other person want to learn about your page? Does the other person want to compare our pages and see how we can work these together? Or is there just not even that? And I would say it's a really bad sign if they don't even want to acknowledge, or they kind of know we're not even on the same page, but they don't care about that. So I don't know if you want to use this as a flashpoint. You may need to get some couples counseling. It's inexpensive, and just do a couple of sessions. But all that to say, when we are going through this stuff, if you're in a relationship, have your partner in mind, try and bring them along on the journey of setting goals together. And hopefully you can get some type of really good outcome for your relationship, your family, and your future together.